In a time before the great kingdoms rose and fell, there lay a secluded valley surrounded by mountains, kissed by clouds. It was a place of unmatched beauty, where rivers sparkled like silver and forests stretched endlessly. The people of the valley were prosperous, for they had the favor of a great magician named Zuberi. Zuberi was no ordinary man. His robes shimmered with colors that shifted like the sky at dawn, and his staff, carved from the branch of an ancient baobab tree, hummed with unseen energy. His powers were vast. He could summon rain in times of drought, tame the wildest animals, and heal even the gravest wounds. But Zuberi was more than a magician. He was a guide, a protector, and the heart of the valley. The villagers revered him, but their dependence on his powers grew with each passing year. They forgot how to solve problems themselves, for they knew Zuberi could fix anything. This troubled Zuberi deeply. Though he loved the people, he knew that they could not rely on him forever. One morning, as the sun climbed over the mountains, Zuberi called the villagers to the great baobab tree, which stood at the center of the valley. The tree's roots sprawled wide, and its trunk seemed to reach into the heavens, a symbol of strength and wisdom. "My friends," Zuberi began, his voice gentle but firm. "For many years, I have used my magic to aid you, but I fear that in helping you, I have also weakened you. You depend on my power when you should depend on yourselves." The villagers murmured in confusion and fear. "What are you saying, Zuberi?" asked Ayo, a young farmer with a sharp mind and a brave heart. "I must leave this valley," Zuberi announced, and a wave of gasps swept through the crowd. "For 1 year, I will journey far from here. During that time, you must face life's challenges without my magic. But remember this, the strength you need is already within you. Trust in each other, and you will thrive." The villagers begged him to stay, but Zuberi's decision was final. With a swirl of his cloak, he vanished into the forest, leaving the villagers to face the unknown. Not long after Zuberi's departure, the rains failed to come. The sun blazed mercilessly, and the rivers shrank to thin trickles. The fields, once green and lush, turned brown and brittle. The villagers despaired. "If only Zuberi were here, he would call the rains," they lamented. But Io stepped forward. "Zuberi once showed me how to build irrigation channels," she said. "If we work together, we can bring water from the river to our fields." Though some doubted her, Ao gathered a small group and began digging. Day and night, they toiled under the burning sun, their hands blistered and their backs aching. Slowly, others joined until the entire village was working as one. When the first water flowed into the fields, a great cheer erupted. For the first time, the villagers realized they could solve their problems through unity and effort. Just as the crops began to recover, sickness swept through the village. Children grew feverish and elders became weak. Fear gripped the people. "If Zuberi were here, he would heal us," they cried. But Kwame, the village elder, remembered Zuberi's lessons about herbs and roots. "Zuberi taught us that the forest holds the cure for many ailments," he said. With the help of a few brave villagers, Kwame ventured deep into the woods, gathering leaves, bark, and berries. He brewed teas and poultices, tending to the sick with patience and care. The villagers watched in awe as the sick began to recover. They realized that Zuberi's teachings lived on in their memories and actions, even in his absence. One night, as the village rested from its trials, a pack of wild hyenas descended from the mountains. They attacked the livestock, their glowing eyes and snarling jaws striking terror into the hearts of the villagers. Panicked, the people fled to their homes, but Io refused to hide. "We cannot live in fear," she said. "Zuberi taught us that courage and cleverness can defeat any foe." Under her leadership, the villagers built strong fences around their homes and fields. They crafted torches and took turns keeping watch. When the hyenas returned, they were met with flames and shouts, and they fled into the night. A full year passed, and the valley, though scarred by hardship, was thriving. The fields were green, the granaries full, and the villagers had a newfound confidence. One morning, as the first light of dawn painted the sky, Zuberi appeared at the edge of the village. The people ran to greet him, their faces alight with joy and pride. "Welcome back, Zuberi," Io said, stepping forward. "We missed you, but we learned to stand on our own. Your teachings guided us, and we have grown stronger." Zuberi looked around at the flourishing valley and the smiling faces of the villagers. His heart swelled with pride. "You have done more than I ever imagined," he said. "You have proven that the greatest magic is not in my staff or my spells, but in your courage, wisdom, and unity." From that day on, Zuberi stayed in the valley, not as a savior, but as a teacher and friend. The villagers no longer depended on him for every problem, but they cherished his guidance and the lessons he continued to share. And so, the valley became a place where magic lived not in one man, but in the hearts of all who called it home. Years later, when Ao was old and grey, children would gather under the great baobab tree to hear the story of the year without magic. "Zuberi's magic showed us the way," she would say, "but it was our hands and hearts that shaped our destiny." And the children, their eyes wide with wonder, would dream of the day when they too could carry the magic of the valley into the world.